What's up, guys? We got a game with the white pieces against Psycho 33. He's rated 1745, so he's really up there. We're starting off with the bishop's opening. He responds with knight c6, controlling the center. We bring our knight out, and we control the center as well. He brings out his king's knight and develops a piece, puts a little pressure on the center. No real drawback. So now we just close our pawn chain with our bishop outside. Black develops modestly with bishop e7, which doesn't threaten anything. It just prepares castling. This allows us to immediately play f4, which is what we want to play, striking the center, starting some type of attack. Black goes d6. This defends the pawn in the center and opens up his bishop. So I don't want his bishop and knight to coordinate and be active in my position. So I'm going to shut his bishop out and give it no active possibilities. He goes knight to the side, which tries to win my bishop, which is a good strategy for him. However, my bishop isn't 100% necessary for my attack. You could drop it back, but I don't want to waste any time. I want to spend that time developing. So I'm just going to bring out a piece and let him take. And it looks kind of weird to you probably, my structure, but I actually have really good control over this square. E4 is defended, so my center is actually pretty strong. And now I can continue my development. Dark square bishop. I'm thinking of castling queenside and then launching my pawns and attacking. So let's put our bishop here. It is a good bishop, but it also hits this knight, which is the only thing that's pressuring the center right now. So you could consider trading it. He pushes this pawn. What does it threaten? Just to develop a piece towards the center. I don't mind that. What's the drawback? It creates more light square weaknesses. So I'm happy to see it. If I do want to cast along with my plan, I should move my queen. One of these squares looks reasonable. Which square? I guess we'll just double stack this way. Just keep control of the D file. So he develops his last minor piece. What does this threaten? 2 attackers on the pawn. But my whole plan was to throw a knight in here with this beautiful pawn support. So if I put my knight in here, it undefends this pawn. He gets a pawn, but I get a bishop with check. He gets a piece, I get a queen. He gets a queen, I get a rook. So that doesn't work for him. But if I just go here and he just takes my knight, I could take this way, but ideally I want to take with the c-pawn. So let's just take this knight off the board, since it's the only piece causing any problems. I'm not entirely sure our dark square bishop was going to do anything with all of his pawns blocking like that. And this knight was, like I said, the only defender of these light squares. So once I jump my knight in here now, it just looks a lot stronger because it stops his bishop, lets me recapture. I could take with the queen, and that keeps a piece on that square. I also could take with the pawn and have a lot of space advantage with weak light squares. I don't know. How should I take? Huh. I'm just gonna take with the pawn, fix my structure, just create this bind, you know, just take control over the center completely. And he goes here. What does this threaten? It gives me a check. I think he wants me to take on purpose so that he can recapture and bring his queen in. I'm not gonna do that though because I like my knight. And this is his bad bishop, and if I kick it, it weakens my knight. But where does his bishop go? Back to these ugly passive squares. Then I can long castle. He never has this thing because I'm controlling that square twice at the moment. And also h4 will control it a third time. So now is a good chance to long castle, and I'm ready to start some type of pawn storm like this. Bring my rook over. So he starts his pawn storm. That's fair. He doesn't really have any other plans, of course. Now if I go for this and try to push, he's gonna slip in. So I'm gonna start with h4 so that now when I push, he can't put his bishop here. And that makes g5 even stronger. So he tries to, you know, stop my play on the king side, but moving pawns here actually gives me hooks, so it might not be good for him. There is this alignment, which I could take a turn to go king b1, but he's not actually threatening anything. So I'm not going to take that time out, and I'm just going to go g4. If I push and he takes and I take and he takes, I win material. So he retreats his bishop. First move that catches my eye is this. His bishop's trapped, so he has to take with the pawn. And then if I take with the pawn, he has to take with the bishop. Then I have this check. He'll likely fianchetto. Then I have queen h6 threatening 3 different checkmates. So he's forced to at least get up to bishop f6. I give this check. He actually doesn't have any moves. He's forced to do what I just said. So that looks like a forcing checkmating sequence in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move mate. Wait, what? Wait, what just happened? Wait, what? Oh, no wonder why I'm so confused. He took with the bishop. I'm like, how does queen get there? Okay, so he doesn't take this way and get force mated. He takes with the bishop. And then I took with the pawn. I pre-moved. That's why I didn't catch what happened. And now he takes my pawn. So he sacks the bishop for 2 to avoid mate. That's not a bad idea at all. Now, if I go here and hang the knight on purpose, I can't go queen h6 because he has queen f4 taking the queen trade. So right now my knight's hanging. So I don't have time for the king over. I'm also going to... Let me just protect an x-ray, because that's strong. Then I'll move my king to b1. Oh. I'm taking that queen. I'm jumping my knight in. I mean, I'm up a piece. So if he wants to hang everything and give me everything, and then make his rook super passive, as in maybe one of the worst moves ever. Okay, so I don't want to lose on time, and I don't want to lose due to arrogance, so... Oh, I could have done the other one, actually. Now I go here. Now I double. These pawns are actually annoying, so I'm going to get my king over. Just in case. Maybe support this knight so it's like unmovable. If he ever kicks it, this hangs. That's a rook. That's a rook. That's a pawn. And there's no way his pawns can queen. I'm going to get my knight back into this. Now I'm going to get my king in. I'm not obviously not calculating. I'm just assuming my king can get in. Okay, so check, and he's going to run that pawn. So here, 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 here. Thank God my knight has a square. Jesus. If it didn't have a circuit to reach this, I would go insane. Yeah, I don't mind giving up my knight for that because I'm winning. This is a winning endgame, so. And he knows it. At a rating of 1745, he knows this is lost. So he might resign. And that was really fun. I actually had a lot of fun this game attacking. So they went to the edge of the board with the knight to take the bishop, which is a good positional idea to get rid of the bishop pair. Very common and thematic idea and so many openings. Like I said, it's a good idea. Where was I going with that? Forgot what I was gonna like tie that to. He goes after my bishop. Oh yeah, and I don't move the bishop. I leave it there, and then I recapture with the pawn, and it creates a really strong control over this square. And it's just another way to play. Like a lot of you guys, your instinct is immediately to drop it back, which is also, fine and playable positionally. But the other move creates attacking chances like you saw in the game. Another strong way to play. You might be uncomfortable at first with the way the pawns look visually, but you have to try new stuff. You can't just keep doing the same. Oh, I always connect my pawns like this, and I feel safe. That's very noobish if that's all you ever do. He moves his king. I guess he's trying to chase my knight out. Right, so here, but his king can't approach my knight. Here, here, here. Wait a second. Hold the phone. I don't feel like... Oh wait, I got this check. Whew. That actually, if I took this pawn, I think that's losing for me. So he actually was very big brain with king h3. But now I have this check, which forces... I'm just going to sack it for the pawn. So now I have nothing to worry about. I have a majority here. I also have this, which is going to happen. So, clever try by him. That caught me off guard for a second. Like if I go back, yeah, if I take this and he runs and I try to take the other pawn and he hits my knight, if I take the pawn, he takes the knight and then he gets a queen. If I check him with the knight, he chases my knight. I check him, he chases. It's only good for a draw. So this is actually super clean. I'm glad I had this. But it was a pretty smooth game, and I mean it was very consistent climbing an advantage little by little. And you can see the results, and this guy is a 1745. That's no joke. I'm glad this happened because I'm running low on time. He's looking for resources, but it's a check. So whatever he does, I'm just gonna pre-move the pawn, and that's GG. He might just be mad and waiting 5 full minutes right now, but because he knows full well what's happening here with this check. He knows there's no clever moves anymore. I'm taking the pawn. That's it. Excuse me. And yet he won't resign. So you guys can thank Psycho33 that you get to spend a little more time with me. So my day was pretty good. My days are always pretty good though. I have nothing to complain about. Except Psycho33 wasting my life away. Because he's emotionally unstable and can't come to terms with the fact he lost a chess game to a speedrunning opponent who's higher rated and is supposed to win the game. And you spelled psycho wrong. Okay, well, hopefully you guys can appreciate the game. We might as well go through it. So, as always, I play f4. I like the bishop's opening. Something new I'm learning with the speed run. It's a lot of fun. Highly tactical, and there are some extremely tactical variations that you need to know. Okay, so anyway, in this position, 9 out of 10 of these rated players will just put the knight here. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a developing move, you get ready to castle, but it allows the bishop pin. The pin isn't a problem. However, it just gives his light square bishop, something to do. All of his pieces will have something to do. So by playing f5, breaking the rules a little bit by not developing a piece, it almost doesn't break the rule because me developing is good, but me hindering his development is equivalent. It's just as good, just in a different way. So his bishop, if it has to go to d7, that's kind of garbage. At least over here it can coordinate with the knight, or maybe it can support a knight jump, right? Oftentimes this bishop is outside the pawn chain here, and so this bishop will defend the knight, which will jump in to coordinate with the other bishop. And so that's how black gets some activity. So when you play f5, now there's no coordination square here. And so even if his bishop was outside, it doesn't coordinate with another piece. So f5 is a very nice move. And it's also like we started our kingside attack early if we were playing like a King's Indian defense as black. But now we're on the white side. We already have f5 in. And we can just develop and castle and, it just looks so nice. So he goes for this, which, ideally you keep this bishop, but that's in a perfect world where you don't have to spend moves trying to save it. But that's not chess. You have to give and take. So he goes for it. And I decide to give. But it's not as good as he thinks. My pawns have a lot of light square control. So you take my bishop, but no biggie. Center's still pretty secure, light square wise. And now I have beautiful control here. So, yeah, my bishop's gone, but this piece clearly has good prospects. This piece, all my pieces have good spots. He castles. I went bishop here, but you definitely don't have to put it there. You can easily maybe try for like e3. He'll probably hit it. You could bring it back temporarily, kick the knight, put it back. But either way, I develop a piece. I long castle. But the thing is, if I long castle first, this pawn's hanging, so I have to do something about it. Again, like I mentioned, you move the knight, you hang the pawn in some line, so we get rid of this knight. And again, now both my bishops are gone. But it's a closed, locked center, right? Bishops want open lines. Look at this. His bishops aren't looking at anything. And after I jump this in, it's really not looking like, look, his bishops are doing nothing. That's why he trades. So immediately the bishop pair is given back to me. And this guy just, hey, he got a warning. Letting time run out instead of resigning will result in a temporary ban. I didn't even report him for that. Go lead chess. Let's go. Yeah, this guy's a loser. But that's neither here nor there. Hope you enjoyed the game. Hope you guys learned something. Bishop's opening is a lot of fun. Try to copy what you see from me. Good luck in your games. Bye-bye.